In this video, I'm going to introduce you to behind the back horizontal yo-yoing with a gerbil combo that looks like this. Now, to do this trick, first you need to know how to do horizontal Eli hops, as we show in our horizontal circular Eli hops video, and horizontal skinned gerbil. So if you're not comfortable with those tricks, make sure you check out our videos for those. And just like how we mentioned in those videos, you always want to learn a horizontal trick vertically first. So to do this trick vertically, you throw a trapeze, and then you want to swing the yo-yo to the front of the string between your hands, and then swing it once more on top of the trapeze. And then you can unroll twice, swing the yo-yo toward your throw hand side, landing it on top of both of these strings. Then unroll toward your non-throw hand side and do just the same element. So swing to the front, then swing on top, and unroll twice and do 2 Eli hops, go into an undermount and perform a bind. And you should recognize all these elements from Skin the Gerbil and from Eli hops. Now before we start doing this sequence horizontal, first we actually want to practice it behind the back vertically. So I'm going to throw the yo-yo directly behind my back, land it onto a trapeze, then I can do just that same sequence, and then I'm going to go into an undermount and do a bind. And the bind that I'm going to do is the third bind in our go-to binds video, which looks like this. And to show that in front of me, you always want to swing the yo-yo toward your throw hand side to do the bind, because that's really the only bind that works when you're doing behind the back horizontal. So once you have the vertical in front of yourself and vertical behind the back version of this trick down very fast and very smooth, then you can start thinking about the horizontal in front of yourself version. And this is one that you're really going to want to spend some time with, because it's the version of the trick that most directly translates to the fourth and final version, which is the behind the back horizontal gerbil combo. And this behind the back horizontal version can be really challenging at first, because so many of the things that you're used to doing in both vertical yo-yoing and horizontal yo-yoing kind of go out the window. So we're going to start building this trick from the bottom up. And the first thing that we want to take a look at before we even get to the throw is your posture during the trick. So during vertical behind the back yo-yoing, typically you lean back in order to give yourself as much space as possible. But with horizontal behind the back yo-yoing, you actually want to lean forward a little bit so that your head can turn and see what's going on to either side of your body while giving yourself all the space that you need. So while keeping that in mind during the whole trick, now we need to start thinking about how to properly throw the yo-yo. So just like with a conventional horizontal throw where the yo-yo is held in our hand slightly tilted, instead of holding our forearm up, we want to point our forearm down, and then we can swing our throw hand toward our throw hand side, and right before our arm is fully extended, we can let go of the yo-yo, and the yo-yo is going to swing around to our non-throw hand side, and we can catch the string and start doing horizontal pinwheels. Now, just like how I mentioned before, what you know from horizontal yo-yoing kind of goes out the window because your arms are pointing down instead of up. So this means that while you're doing the pinwheels, you might find that the yo-yo goes more vertical or more horizontal than you might like. So you're just going to want to practice the throw and the pinwheels and see if you can keep the yo-yo in plane while doing the pinwheels. So while we're working on keeping the pinwheels in plane, you're of course going to need to bring the yo-yo back to your hand. So let's go over how to properly bind behind the back before we move on to the elements in the gerbil combo. So while doing the pinwheels, you want to swing the yo-yo into a trapeze by landing it onto the side of the string that faces forward. From there, you can hop the yo-yo directly off of the trapeze, stick out your middle finger and go into an undermount and swing your hands behind your back, just like this, in order to do the bind. And of course, because the yo-yo is spinning horizontally and gravity is trying to pull the yo-yo down, what's critical is that you go into the undermount with a lot of speed and you really try to swing that yo-yo as hard and as fast as you can, catching the yo-yo with the back of your hand facing forward. So this is something that you really just want to do a lot of drills with. Throwing the yo-yo, doing pinwheels, trapeze, and the bind and the catch. Because once you have all those things down comfortably, you'll feel that you have much more control when you're doing behind the back horizontal tricks. And really it's going to make the process of learning how to do the combo much easier. So once we have all that down, let's take a look at the first element, which done vertically looks like this. And there's some specific tips that you really want to pay attention to while doing this. So of course we're going to throw the yo-yo horizontally behind our back, go into a trapeze, and then just practice doing that. So you just do the first element of the trick, unwind, go directly into an undermount, and perform a bind. And you want to practice this one element just like how we practice the throw and the bind, by constantly drilling it over and over until you can always keep the swing under, trapeze, undermount, and bind in plane. When you're doing this, you might find that the yo-yo or the string drops off and they can be really difficult to recover. And if that happens, you might just have to swing the yo-yo in front of yourself and wind it up again. That's totally fine. The best way to avoid the yo-yo dropping off of your finger is actually to go faster. Because your finger is pointing down, the string can slide right off. So the faster you're going, the more the string will pull to the sides, and hopefully the string won't come off of your finger. As we know from the other versions of this trick, the next step is swinging the yo-yo over to your throw hand side and do a double on. And when you're doing this behind the back horizontally, there's a couple things to keep in mind. The first is that this element functions just like the bind, where the yo-yo is swinging really far behind your back, so it's much more likely to drop down too low. So just like with the bind, we want to make sure that the yo-yo is moving as fast as we can possibly make it so that it stays as horizontal as possible. And if you go too slow, what you might find is that the yo-yo drops much too low to make contact with the string, and it can drop right out, and that can cause a whole host of issues. So the best way to combat that, I find, is to actually try to swing the yo-yo up a little bit right before it touches the string. So you see here that I'm raising my throw hand, which helps a lot with the accuracy. After the yo-yos touch the two strings on your throw hand side, you want to swing the yo-yo back over to your non-throw hand side, of course, as fast as you can. And then, just as we learned in the other versions of the trick, after swinging it over to your non-throw hand side, you do the same element as you did at the beginning. Then you can unroll the yo-yo and go directly into a bind. So this sequence isn't the whole trick, but it's a very smooth sequence that's easy to repeat and it's easy to practice. So once you have that down, now we can start working on the real flair of the trick, which is the behind the back Eli hops. And to do those function just the same as conventional horizontal Eli hops, where you have to pop the yo-yo slightly above the plane of the yo-yo. And if you're not quite sure what I'm talking about there, then you're definitely going to want to check out our horizontal circular Eli hops video, which explains that concept a little bit more in depth. So to do horizontal behind the back Eli hops, you want to throw the yo-yo horizontally behind your back and land the yo-yo onto a trapeze. And because you really have no time to spare, you want to pull your hands apart as quickly as possible, launching the yo-yo forward. And when you're first doing this, you just want to try to hop it once, land it back on the string, do a bind, and bring the yo-yo back to your hand. And once you have that down, then you want to see if you can try to hit it 2 times in a row, which is what we show at the beginning of the video as part of the Gerbil Combo. So once you have the horizontal Eli hops down, then it's time to combine it with the Gerbil Combo. And to do that, rather than at the end of the Gerbil Combo, rather than going directly into an undermount, instead, as we're unrolling the yo-yo, we're just going to pull our hands apart and do the Eli hops. So when you put that all together, it looks like this. Throw, trapeze, swing under, swing to the throw hand side, swing under, pull apart, undermount, and bind. And that sequence might take a lot of practice, but don't get frustrated. Don't pull your hair out. I believe in you. You can do it. And that is an introduction to horizontal behind the back yo-yoing.